Good afternoon, Rip City. Welcome into the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you today. Chad doing still out, feeling a little bit under the weather, even though I don't think that he's actually sick. Like he's not feeling it that way. He's not sitting here and I can't make it. I got stomach ache. I'm puking everywhere. No, he just has no voice. Burkhardt, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the show again tomorrow. Can you fill in for me? I got you. This is the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you would like to join the conversation with us today, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can go to Rip City Radio on YouTube, join the conversation there, and you can send us a text. 88528 is the telephone number. We're going to get you loaded up today. Plenty to talk about and plenty to give away. We got some Blazer tickets to give away. Yesterday was Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday, but we were all hopped up down at the brand new ballpark in Hillsboro, which was absolutely phenomenal. I got a chance to go out there and see that thing and see what they got going for us. And tell you what, if you listened to me yesterday and you heard me gush about it, you know that I was in love with that stadium the minute I walked into it. Just a beautiful, beautiful setup that they got there. And it's going to be a cool place to watch basketball. I'll tell you that much. So we were out there, and I forgot to give away tickets. I just got so excited. But now we're here, and we got some tickets to give away to the last home games of the season. So that would be against the Clippers and against the Sacramento Kings. So we'll have tickets to give away, so be in tune for that. I will be joined here in a little bit by Brenden Slaughter. He's in studio with me today. So we're going to talk about this Blazers team. We're going to run some other stuff by him too, because boy, we have to talk about some coaches saying some really weird things to the media. Ice cream really dictates what kind of recruit you want and how good a quarterback will be. Don't believe me. Don't worry, because I really don't believe him either. So what are you talking about? Now, we do get a text that says, dude, I was just on the 17th at Tri Mountain and somebody eerily familiar looked like they were putting on 18. Sorry, Chad. Don't mean to bust you, bro. Chad could be out there. You know what? You know that logic. Whoa. Just because my voice is shot doesn't mean I can't hit the greens, can't hit the course. You know what I mean? Golf is a quiet sport. There's no cheering. There's no yelling. You got to do the little golf claps. You don't need a voice to go golfing.
You know what that reminds me of, Chris, is when I was a kid and it's like, maybe you stayed home from school because you had a headache, and then by say 11 or noon, your headache is mysteriously gone after some Advil, maybe a little bit more sleep, and you're like, oh, well, it's like technically I should be in school right now, but, hey, man, you been outside today, Chris? Pretty darn nice.
It is pretty nice. We had a guy who worked at my family's meat market, and he called in morning shift. Well, there was no morning shift. It was the whole day shift. You got there when they opened. You got there when they closed. We're all there working. No one knows where he is, and he finally calls. Yeah, Jim, I don't feel good today. I'm gonna stay home. I'm real sick. And my dad's like, all right, man, well, stay home, heal up, get better. We'll see you tomorrow. And he's like, okay, thanks. And about an hour later, my dad had to go to the store to get some equipment for the market, and he's driving down the road, and there's the guy who had called in an hour earlier, kicking a soccer ball down division. Where are you going? Oh, I'm feeling better. I was going to play a soccer game. Got outed, just like Chad just got outed for being on the 18th hole. Thing is, I know we're joking and we're having fun, but I wouldn't put it past him. We did say, same texter says, good theory, brother, but he just yelled, what the F are you doing? Selling me out, Charlie? And he yelled it, man. I'm telling you, I want video evidence of this or it didn't happen. Can you imagine that, though, Brenden? There's Chad on the 18th green, listening to the radio show because he's like, oh, no, show starts at 3. I got to tune in, make sure Burke and Brenden don't mess this up. And how is he talking about me being on the 18th? Also, Rip City Radio owns the golf market. If we got listeners on the 18th hole and the 17th hole, we're doing pretty good here.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, I think more than anything, Chris, we own the market, and like I said, it exemplifies like, maybe he just needed a little vitamin D to kind of help, really get that voice back. I mean, there's some logic there, right? I mean, a little extra sunshine. They say the sun and nature cures all, Burkhardt.
Hey, vitamin D does help us here in the Pacific Northwest. We tend to be vitamin D deficient. I want to go golfing with Chad. Like, I've known Chad now for quite a bit. Worked with him here it'll be 4 years at the end of the summer. You've worked with him longer. I want to go golfing with him, but my golf game's too bad. He's a golf guy. He goes out there anytime he can. So I'm over here like, I want to go golfing with him one day, but I don't want him to be I don't want to be ridiculed for how bad my golf game is by a guy who's actually good. Like, I go with my friends, but they're used to my bad golf game.
Right.
They bring me along because they just like hanging out with their bud.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you mean, Chris, because it's the one sport that I wish I had picked up. It's the one sport that even now at 30 years old, I'm like, hey, I'd love to pick it up. I've maybe swung clubs once in my lifetime, to your point. I wish I could go golfing with a handful of people, including my brother-in-law, but in that same category, Chris, it's almost a disservice to go golfing with experienced golfers if you're not, because you're slowing everything up. I'm like, I don't need to give anybody another reason. Wow, yeah, Brenden, he really made those 18 holes long that day.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know you could, obviously, you've told me a little bit, Chris, about your game where you've, hit throughout. I mean, you might be able to hold your own, boss.
I'm bad. I can hold my own. I'll keep up pace, but I'm bad. I was golfing in Mountain View one time. We're on the first hole, Brenden. Very first hole of the day. Get out the driver, feeling good about it. It's a par 4, but a long par 4. And I'm not driving 400 yards or anything. So I'm like, okay, it's a good shot. Now about 25 yards up and about 25 yards off to the right of the tee box, there's a big old tree. I mean, this thing is about 40 feet around. Like, it's massive. No one's going to hit that thing, right? It's 25 yards off to the right. You don't know Burkhardt's golf game. Burkhardt, backswing. He follows through. He hits that ball. Here's clunk. Ball ricochets about 200 feet up in the air with enough backspin that it just starts spinning and spinning and spinning. And my drive ended up about 30 yards behind the tee box. I hit for negative yards off a tee shot. That's Chris's golf game.
I mean, again, Chris, as humble as you are being right now, it's still better than somebody who it might be kind. Do you remember? I'm assuming you've seen Happy Gilmore now.
Oh, multiple
Happy
times.
Gilmore 2 now, and it's like, yeah, in the very beginning when, he's with all kind of the amateurs and they're like, who the heck is this guy? And he's just stumbling. Like, that would be best case scenario for your boy. It would be embarrassing.
One time we were golfing. I'm gonna have to clip this just for my buddy Justin. But one time we're out golfing. We're at Gresham Golf Course. We're on the 18th hole. It's been a long day. We're all having a good time. And my buddy steps up, and he's about, I would say, 8 yards off the green, and he's like, okay. Grabs his little wedge, and he chips it up onto the green, gets a nice spin on it. It rolls, it curves, hits the bottom of the cup. Chip in to end the round. He's jumping up and down. Yeah, ecstatic. We're like, Justin, that was a beautiful shot. And then I'm going up to take my shot, and I'm like, where the hell is my ball? Like, I thought it was right around here. And then I look over, I'm like, hey, Justin. He goes, what? And I go, isn't this your ball? And I point at it, and he goes, what? And he walks over, and he goes, oh, no, that is my ball. Whose ball did I chip in? And I said, I think you chipped in my ball. So awesome. Let's go ahead and take, no, doesn't count, Justin. Doesn't count. Oh, man. Also, our texter is spot on here. 100%. This is the factual. Says, Chris, you can't go golfing with Chad because when Chad is golfing, you're filling in for him. You
I mean,
guys know.
it depends on the hour because I remember back in the days when I worked in mornings, Chris, and we would sometimes have Chad Dewing join us on our last slot at 8:20 in the morning. Chad likes to get out there early on summer. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes I feel like he might have 18 done by like 9, 10 a.m. Man.
Yeah, he tends to be an early to bed guy. So once Blazer season rolls around and actually starts earnestly, he's grumpy for a little bit 'cause he's not used to that staying up till 11 o'clock, getting home at midnight type stuff. But he's a lot of the time. He's the first tea time there at Blue Heron, or Heron Lakes. He's like, I'm out there, I'm ready to go. But he's a midday golfer too. I'm a twilight golfer, pay the twilight rate, golf as many holes as I can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're on hole 15. We can barely see, but if we go fast, we can get through these last 3. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
I think I'd like to just go and watch and maybe hang out near the drink cart. Is that an option like for someone just to kind of, casually observe and hang out with a bunch of people who are really good at it? That'd be my idea of a good day at the golf course.
Nope, you got to be a man and part of that is making a fool of yourself and understanding your shortcomings, and you got to be laughed at.
I won't deny it, but yeah, I might have to eventually, Chris. I'm gonna get too old to even, really want to get into it. So I got to cross that monkey off my back at some point.
Yeah, my golf game is it's average, maybe I would say maybe slightly above average in the fact like if you took like the random Joe out there, I'm gonna beat him, but maybe only by a stroke or two. I make it look good. I have fun, but. Yeah, when your golf game's bad, when you get like one good shot, like you outdrive all your friends on one hole, and they're all of a sudden they're mad. They're like, "What the heck's going on? Burkhardt just took a better shot than all of us." Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for making me feel real good. Oh, what was that? Oh, loser of this round buys the beers. Well, how come you guys only bet on the beers when I play with you, and how come my bank account has to buy multiple beers every time? Oh, yeah. I think my friends are just taking advantage of me. See, that's why I do need to go with golfing with Chad. He's not much of a drinker, so maybe I'll save a little money that way. This is the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here filling in for Chad Dewing. Having fun at the expense of my golf game. Weather outside is definitely worth going and golfing, though. I'm going to have to hit the links here pretty soon. We're here with you today. Chad Dewing, still a little under the weather. His voice is on the mend. It sounds better. I would expect him to hopefully be here tomorrow, but we're here to help him out, make sure he's back up to 100%. We're going to be here with you till 4:30, and then I have Blazers game day as we get ready for the Portland Trail Blazers taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Still a chance of getting that 8 seed and a big game tonight. And for those of you who haven't checked the wires for the injury reports, Victor Wembanyama not playing for San Antonio. So as Jim Carrey's character in Dumb and Dumber said, so you're saying there's a chance. We shall see. Now, when we come back, Brenden and I are going to talk about the Blazers. We're also going to talk a little college football because I did not know that Tillamook ice cream may have so much to play when it comes to quarterback recruiting. I'll tell you what I mean when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you, filling in for Chad Doing today. He's out, a little under the weather. That voice ain't being too kind to him, but we're here for you, getting you through another day of sports action. Blazers will be taking on the San Antonio Spurs tonight. Tip-off at 6:30. I'll have Blazers game day for you coming up in a little over an hour, and we'll really dive into that game. But Victor Wembanyama not playing tonight. So it's going to be a big one, and that will lead into Friday as the Blazers return home for their final two games, taking on the Clippers and the Spurs. So, let me tell you what. Here on Rip City Radio, we have a little thing. It's called Trailblazer Ticket Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I was out at the Hillsborough Ballpark. I was just a little, preoccupied, breaking in with the new arena and talking to John Sukanik, who was wonderful, spent his time with me. We got to talk to Rich Burke and all the voices of the Hops. Matt Rickert was there. Seth Hoyland was there. Talked to Kayla Wambacher. It was wonderful. But I forgot to give away tickets, Brenden. Sometimes baseball, you love the game. It just hits you like a line drive to the face, and you forget what's going on. So to make up for that, we got you taken care of right now. So this is how you do it. Caller number 3, Brenden. Caller number 3. 503-248-0620. You will win a pair of tickets to see the Clippers April 10th at Moda Center in what may very well be the most important game of the year. Once again, caller number 3, 503-248-0620. Win a pair of tickets to see the Clippers take on your Portland Trailblazers as Portland returns home on Friday to take on Kawhi and company. And the game should absolutely be a thriller. You saw what happened last time they played, right? That game was something else. That game was filthy because the Blazers played their most complete game of the year and got an upset victory in LA against a team that's been very, very good. Basically, turn of the calendar. Started the year absolutely terribly, but have since bounced back. Now, if Portland wins tonight and the Clippers should fall, things open up a little bit more. Things get even more interesting. What could happen? How is this going? How? I don't know. Because the Blazers went from we're tanking for the lottery, we're tanking for the lottery, we're tanking for the lottery, and now most of us were on they might be around 500. They might be a play-in team. Well, right now they're locked into the play-in, have been for a while now. They still have a chance at 500. All they need to do is win one of their final 3 games. And that starts tonight in San Antonio. Now, if they win this game and the Clippers lose theirs, the Clippers will be taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that does not lose very often. In fact, they've lost just 16 times all year. Then that means that Friday game is basically winner take all as long as the Blazers can take care of business against Sacramento as well. So there's a lot on the line here. The crazy part about the Clippers and the Thunder is if the Thunder are going to give their all in that game, because if the Thunder win that game, they clinch the number 1 overall seed. Now, San Antonio is still going to be given A-plus effort tonight because they still have a hope of getting the number 1 seed, but the only way they get the number 1 seed is if they win out. You got to get through. You have to win out, and you have to hope that Oklahoma City loses 3 in a row. Now, unfortunately, for those of you who keep track at home, Oklahoma City has not lost 3 in a row since 2023. 2023. I tell you, my friend, it has been a minute since Oklahoma City lost like that. So, conventional wisdom and math and history, it all tells you that number 1 seed is as good as Oklahoma City's. Now, San Antonio comes into tonight's game with no Victor Wembanyama, no Stephen Castle, and again, you don't have those 2 guys. You can still get a win because you're a very good team. You're number 2 for a reason. You're not just number 2 because it's Victor Wembanyama and nobody else. They're well coached. They got a good roster. We've seen that firsthand. But it's going to be a challenge either way. But the Blazers need to take care of business because, like I said a second ago, still very, very much on the line for your Portland Trailblazers. I love this. I love the fact that we are getting to the point where we have 3 games left in the year, and there's still so much to play for. Also, massive shout out to Art Montgomery, winner of those Clipper tickets.
Well, that's a good pair to win right there. We appreciate all the phone callers. We had a lot of interest, Chris, and I was telling folks, I'm like, don't worry, we got one more left to give. But,
we do.
But I mean, you said it earlier in a looping back email. You said it earlier, Chris. Not like Friday's like the biggest game of the year or anything for the Trailblazers.
Not at all.
So yeah, no, I'm thrilled. Art dropped to go Blazers. And then as he was signing off, I got to give Art a shout out here, Chris.
Okay.
I think he might have maybe even known me because he dropped to go Beavs. So I appreciate that, Art. You are the man.
That's know your audience. Shout out, Art. Also, you also know that the host of your show who gave you the information to call is a Duck fan, which is why you waited till the end to drop a go Beavs. Because I might have just been, hey, Brenden, hang up on. No, we ain't playing that. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Do you know every time I give away tickets, I'm going to be completely honest with you listeners out there. Every single time I give tickets away, I get nervous. And you know why? It's because I'm like, caller number, whatever. And then I look over to the phone and I just sit there and I go, oh, please, Lord, tell me people are listening to me today. Tell me people are tuning in.
Yep.
And then you forget that there's that slight radio delay, because it's, what I say gets out to the masses about 30 seconds later, just in case I drop one of those no words and Brenden has to hit the dump button. So it takes a few seconds for the phone lines to light up. But I'm always like, oh, Chad's not here, and they didn't want to listen to me. But they did light up. And then Brendan's back there stressing because he's like, I'm just trying to answer this one phone call, and the phones won't stop ringing.
Yeah, that's only happened to me one time, Chris, and it was it was none of our sports teams, so I want to get that out of the way right away. It was a very obscure concert this last summer, and it was... we had tickets for it, and Chad was like, I was host of RipCityDrive. He's like, have a ticket, giveaway for it. And I remember I was working with Shacker, and it was like para-concert tickets. And it wasn't anybody huge or anything, but that was the one time where I got no calls. I was like, oh, call now. And it was quiet. So I've only had that happen to me once. Usually sports tickets, people are all over that.
Absolutely. No, it is funny. Yeah, the tickets you give away matter. Like, okay, is there
It's true.
Is there a lot of fans of this band that I had to look up because I didn't know?
Right, exactly, man.
But there's also a joy in it when you give away the tickets, because we've given away tickets, Brenden, where sometimes it's like, yeah, I have no idea who that artist is, but I'm going to go. We're going to have fun. And then you have some where it's like, oh, my gosh, that's my favorite musician of all time. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I want to say even this year, we've worked a lot of Blazer games, Chris, so if I'm butchering the details, please be like, Brenden, that wasn't right. But I want to say there was one game where, same kind of situation, we had a little schedule, flex, and I think you and I were giving away a pair of tickets on the 5th quarter, and we gave away a pair of tickets to a dad and his daughter who were driving home from the Blazer
That's right.
game, calling us, and I'm like, these are the moments I live for,
That's
man.
pretty
like,
awesome.
He's like, I'm in the car coming back from Mona. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Man.
And for those of you wondering, we do have another pair of tickets. We're going to give them away in a little over an hour on Blazers game day. That will be a pair of tickets to the regular season finale against the Sacramento Kings, game 82 of 82. And then you never know how this bad boy works. We'll have to talk to Chad. I wonder if we get some play-in tickets to give away, because those will be a hot commodity as well. Now, Brenden, I'm old. You're young. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm smart. You're dumb. For those of you who understand that was a Matilda reference, you're old like me. Now, it just made me think that as I'm sitting here telling stories of, watching the phone lines and you struggling back there with the phones, remind me of there was this old sitcom way back in the day, WKRP in Cincinnati. It was a show about a radio station. I think we should bring back a mix of that, the radio theme, but the Office style, and it's like 6:20 in Rip City, and it's just the show of all the shenanigans that our small crew has to deal with. The 4 employees of Rip City Radio 620.
If they can make The Office, I don't know, Chris. Then we'd have to get into the debate of who would play Chad, who would play you, who would play me, who would play Shacker. We probably got to throw Oaks in there too. So yeah, that would nail it, man. Like, who's gonna be in the casting, man?
Everybody's got to be in it. In some way, shape, or form. I feel like I'm level-headed, so I'm more of the gym. Shacker likes to be the boss of everything and has his quippy one-liners. So he might not be the boss of the station, but he's got a little Michael Scott in him.
So let me ask you this: like, if we're talking, is Chad more David Wallace? Or are we talking Charles Idris Elba?
He's
right. That's a good question, right?
Yeah, Chad's unique. You know what I mean?
No, all in good fun and love. Like I said, I would be hilarious to see who could, play me in such a mockumentary. But that's funny. That's good stuff, man.
It is absolutely. That's fun. Now, joking. Let's get back into sports talk for a second, Brenden. And I'm glad you're here with me today because you, of all people, will enjoy this. Now, football is an interesting sport. It is full of cliche coach speak. It's also full of just some of the weirdest analogies and metaphors one can think of. And at a media availability yesterday, Coach Koa Ki was talking to the media, Oregon quarterback coach. And the metaphor he used when he talks about recruiting turned a few heads. So I want you to listen to this.
Like, I ask him a question like this all the time. Hey, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, the minute a kid pauses, I don't really want that kid, right? Because you need to have some type of conviction, right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay, so whether you like chocolate or you like vanilla, I don't really care. But if you sit there and say, coach, I don't know. Is it melted? Is it not? What's the brand? So on and so forth. Like, what is this kid going to do on third down in front of 110,000? He's probably going to think about it more than he should. He's not going to have conviction, right? So it's, like I just said, long-winded, I understand, but it's the mental aspect is really what we're after.
Say what? Come again? I sit and I talk to a recruit and I ask him, do you like chocolate or vanilla? And if he pauses for a second, he lacks conviction. I need guys who just make decisions. I saw someone post that Dante Moore chose vanilla and did not lack conviction because he didn't want to go through his reads, and that's why he threw a pick six to start the game against Indiana. What? Am I missing something, Brenden? You cover the beefs. You know football, but what? I commented on this to Andrew Nemec, who, great recruiting guy.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, he commented. He said, Coach. He looks at it and he's like, hey, Peyton, chocolate or vanilla? Peyton goes, I like cookie dough. Coach is like, can't make decisions in the pocket. Me, I'm like, what if cookie dough is just coach speak for check down? He didn't go with route A or B. He went to the cookie dough. Like, why do we got to make it so hard? You know what the best way, Brenden? You absolutely know what the best way to find out if your quarterback has conviction or knows what to do in front of 110,000 people is? Put a videotape in front of him and go through his reads and his progressions and have him tell you what he thinks. Who's he looking at? What defender is he looking at? Is he making the read off the D end? Is he looking at the linebackers? What alignment does he see? That's what I want to know. Not what ice cream he wants. What if you're recruiting a guy who's lactose intolerant and he tells you he doesn't eat ice cream, Coach?
I want to poke a little bit of fun at myself here, Chris, because I think this is a good way to start the conversation. So what we're saying is nobody playing quarterback for Oregon State this last season knew what flavor they wanted all year. Is basically what we're getting at with this analogy, right? Because, all jokes aside, I saw this and I watched this clip and I'm glad Chris mentioned it because it kind of popped up on my radar. Obviously, spring football in full swing, to Chris's point. Keeping up with Jamarcus Shepard and the Beavs and all that. And, obviously some Oregon stuff comes across my radar too. And I saw that. I was like, I'll say this, Chris. I've started to work with obviously a whole new staff as Oregon State obviously cleaned house, as you know, and bring in all new staffers. And you always get certain new, isms, I would say, with new coaches and whatnot. And the ice cream one's interesting. It was kind of like, for example, interesting to kind of hear Jamarcus Shepard kind of come out yesterday and be like, Oregon State wasn't really able to study their running techniques the way that they should have the last couple of years, and that may have led to some additional soft tissue injuries, things like that, running form, stuff like that. So I think there's always a thing when new coaches come in, they kind of have a different eye on things, and obviously you mentioned a new Oregon coach there. The analogy is kind of funny, but I'm not sure at the same token if I had, what if Tom Brady is indecisive with what ice cream flavor he likes. You go,
He's the worst.
Nah, Tom, you can't decide, so I'm out. I mean, I see where he's coming from. It's kind of entertaining. It's going to get a lot of clicks, which might have been the point too, Chris. But yeah, I think it's fun, lighthearted. I wouldn't take it all that serious though.
Now, I'm glad you said that because that was where I was eventually going to go too. Like I am having a lot of fun talking about this, but I also understand exactly what he's laying down. It's like how does my quarterback react into this situation? And I honestly don't think he really meant that he literally makes a decision based off how they answer that ice cream question.
And I'll throw this out there too, Chris. One of the things I did see, in the comments and whatnot, and just one thing I've heard, I obviously don't have any firsthand experience with it, but from what I heard, it kind of came along the same lines of like how they will throw really random NFL draft. Like from what I've heard now, some of the questions the NFL teams will throw at players just to kind of get their reaction, they can be a little off the wall and crazy sometimes. And in that respect, maybe, this coach is just taking a little something from the NFL. Like I've heard some doozy stories. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard some doozies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this one, it got people talking. That's for sure. But also the game of football and being a quarterback, it's so much more complex than what he was laying down. He's not dumb. He understands that. And so here's the thing. Sometimes we do it here on radio all the time. Sometimes I try to make a metaphor or some analogy that this is going to be quirky. It's going to be funny. People are going to like it. I say it. And then we cut to commercial, and when my mic is off, I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking? That made no sense. That was one of the dumbest things I've spouted all day. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get this one. They're gonna like it. And, it just didn't hit the way it melted. It melted on him. He's like my little daughter at the beach. She wants that chocolate ice cream cone. She eats it slow, though. So she's 2 bites in, and next thing you know, she's like, Dad, do you want it? Because her hand is just melted ice cream all the way down to her elbow.
See, now that's that's a classic moment right there, man. Then you got sticky hands. Maybe you got like white clothing on, and then you're asking for.
She lacked ice cream conviction.
Yeah. I love it.
I mean, do we talk about that, Coach? What if he says he would prefer chocolate, but then he doesn't really eat the chocolate ice cream with his whole heart? I want to play quarterback, but I'm not going to throw the football with all my heart.
I mean, just with how gray I can be, Chris. Some people say black, white, but I as far as like this, I'd be like, well, Coach, I would ask all the questions. He's like, I don't want a player to ask if it's melted, if it's this, if it's like. I would probably be the guy being like, is there marshmallows? Is it melted? Is it like in a Wendy's Frosty form? Is it like? I mean, he'd be like, Slaughter, just go, man. Just go, because I'd be that guy with a million questions, man.
I would ask the question. I wouldn't worry about indecisiveness, but I would list like, how do you answer the question? Because if I ask you right now, you going vanilla or you going chocolate?
Vanilla.
Why?
That my favorite since I was a kid. There you go. Boom.
Okay.
But I did it, and there was a little bit of indecisiveness. See, even in that moment, folks, it kind of hit me. It was really weird.
I'm going vanilla over chocolate. You know why? Chocolate's always chocolate. I could put sprinkles on chocolate. I could put caramel on chocolate. I could put chocolate on chocolate. I could put other toppings on top. It's always chocolate. Vanilla is versatile. Now, vanilla, I could start with vanilla, but if I take some chocolate syrup, I put it on top of that vanilla ice cream, mix it up a little bit, guess what? I got chocolate ice cream. I could change the flavor a little bit. I could change that profile. Chocolate, not so much. That's how, I get more of the strawberry. If I put some strawberry topping on vanilla, I get more of that strawberry flavor than I do in the chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate's too powerful.
The incredible versatile argument is a good one.
See? But also, I'm a mint chocolate chip guy, so I skipped right to that.
Yeah, that's classic.
Now, we did get one of our texts here. So which one of you is Herb? Herb. Pretty sure the dude with you is Les Nessman. Now, Brenden is going, what the heck is going on here? And that is a text from a fellow old, because that is a WKRP in Cincinnati reference. Now, to answer your question, I'm a young old, just old enough to be a kid and remember the WKRP in Cincinnati intro and that it was a show that Grandma watched. Not old enough to know anything about the character arcs or what Les Nessman is actually like. So I'm going to take your word for it on that one. All I knew was like, see, maybe my radio analogy fell flat because you got radio sitcoms in The Office, and we're just having fun. Anyway, Coach Koa dropped that. And again, I get what he's laying down. There's a deeper meaning there about decision making. 100% there was. But also, if you think any coach walks into a family's living room and that's the question that makes him decide if he wants a recruit or not, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. But what do I know? I'm not in living rooms recruiting. I should be though,
I'd take that salary.
because I'd ask you. Like, all right.
That's why you're paid the big bucks,
All
Burkhardt.
right, Brenden, you're a hell of a quarterback. You've done real good things here at Sherwood High School. You could be the right fit for us here at Oregon Technical Institute of Football. But I got to ask you, what character from The Office is Chad doing? Let me tell you, Coach, he hesitated. He couldn't give me a straight answer. He's not our guy. He's not our guy. All right, we're going to take a break here on the RipCityDrive. When we come back, plenty of more sports talk coming up. Brenden and I are going to talk about this Blazer game a little bit, some important stuff coming up. And maybe I'll even pick Brendan's brain about those little Beavers of his, because it is getting there. Spring football time. And I'll tell you what, I think vibes are, I'm not saying high, but it's just, there's not a dark cloud in Corvallis right now. And that is a very, very good thing. We'll talk about it when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the Rift City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Filling in for Chad doing today. He's a little under the weather. Had some fun. Talked about ice cream. And in true Rift City Radio fashion, when you put Brenden and I together, I'm hungry now. Like, that's... Why? Why does that happen so consistently?
Not like the listening audience really cares, Chris, but it was the other day when you and I were working. I can't remember if it was the Pelicans game or if it was the Nuggets game on Monday, but I had an epiphany where I was just kind of like, man, remember when Chris and I used to have our dinner soirees?
I thought about that too.
I was like, it's not going to come back. We just quietly kind of started doing different orientations and different things. And I was like, it's kind of a past relic, you and I with just good memories, good times. I'm like, yeah, still miss those days, buddy. So something about it's like trying to get us back together.
We saved some money. That's all that happened.
Well, hey, man, gas these days? Whew, don't get me started. I could talk a radio segment on that, bro.
Hey, it fell like 3 cents overnight. Look at us saving some money. Oh man, I'm gonna invest. You know what? I'm gonna invest in Huffy. Yeah, might be a time to invest in the mountain bikes. They're gonna make a comeback. They're gonna make a comeback. Now, got a few seconds here in this segment, Brenden. So I wanted to give you the mic a little bit. I said I want to talk about Oregon State football. We did talk about Duck football there a little bit for different reasons, but spring practices are in full swing. It's a new regime, a new coach, and like I said, it's not a black cloud. There's still some excitement with Coach Shepard there and what he's going to do, but already rocking the boat a little bit, I think, in ways that maybe Oregon State fans and players aren't used to, but it sounds like it might be for the better. What do you got for us?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, early on, this is something that he talked about, obviously coming in and needing to challenge the team. We're into week 3 of spring football now. They had a week in March, and then we're into second week now in April. And in March, he's like, we challenged the heck out of this team, like in the weight room, in conditioning, just probably trying to see who was going to be, in with the new regime and who was maybe look to, potentially leave or what have you. And I think it sounded like put the team a little bit through the rigor in the offseason. And then just yesterday, when he spoke to the media, he was talking about, really went on about injury prevention, soft tissue injuries, and highlighted something just as simple as like Oregon State's players' running forms. Some of the running forms could be improved upon. How it was almost more detail than I can say I've had, covering the team, Chris. And we detailed it more at beaversedge.com. You can check it out there. But ultimately, just like how hamstrings and quads fire off, with where guys are stepping and angles, things of that nature they're looking at. And he also highlighted that, like, at the other schools he's been at, they've had interesting ways, Chris, to be able to strength train your neck and the muscles around your neck. And that's not necessarily something I think of right away when we're talking strength training and whatnot. And he highlighted that, said, hey, we had to kind of artificially create some ways now to strengthen the neck. It's not only a safety thing, but, also a better football player thing. And he's like, hey, we've kind of, I had to make some calls, get what we needed to do equipment-wise. So it's definitely a new era, and you talked about it, Chris. The baseball team's doing baseball team-type stuff. They're going to be a factor in the postseason. Men's basketball is now led by a national champion, so that's kind of cool. And then football's football and getting some momentum with Shep. So, yeah, it's definitely a good time. I think we got new Pac-12 coming soon in the fall. So I think the Beavers, they made it through the darkest times, Chris. And I think, some fresh restarts, which some things are good timing too on football, men's basketball side. And overall, I'm optimistic about where we're headed.
We get through the other side of the Scott Barnes era.
I didn't even mention that, too. And I think that's a positive development for Beaver Nation as well, as we see who ends up sitting in the big chair again. But, yeah, that's another thing that I think is another just, thing in the last few months for Oregon State. But ultimately, I think that would be a good thing.
You have any insight on where they would go, where they would look? Because I know that I've gone on here plenty of times and talked about how they need to look outside the box and stop going to the comfort zone for their coaches and all that. But I do feel in this particular situation, like, Casey might be a good guy to look into.
Great minds, Chris. I mean, obviously, no one's asking for Brendan's opinion, but it's pretty early in the process. I haven't heard hey, here are some absolute names. I imagine with Barnes being on the job till end of August, that they'll probably slow play it a little bit and see who fits the vision best. But I would love someone like Pat Casey. Sells. You and I have talked about where Oregon State baseball is because of him. I think he is certainly a guy that could sell Oregon State. Maybe you want somebody who is a little bit more of a schmoozer, I'll say that, than Pat. I don't know if Pat's going to be out there trying to hit the ground running for no donations kind of a thing and being a really great fundraiser.
Bro, if you went alumni and you want a schmoozer, a guy who's going to command presence when you walk in the room, what's Ocho Cinco doing?
Oh my goodness. I mean,
what's Ocho Cinco doing?
You want to talk about an athletic department that would change? Put Chad Ocho Cinco
Oh
in
my
charge.
gosh.
Man.
Now we're wearing fake jewelry, man. It still looks good. Come on now, don't be dumb. All right. Thanks for that talk. I like that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Blazers a little bit, get Brendan's thoughts on the potential anti-tanking initiative that's moving forward that could definitely impact your Blazers in a negative way. And we'll also tease the fact that, hey, we got some tickets to give away during Blazers game day today, which starts at 4:30. We'll have 2 tickets to see the Sacramento Kings in the final home game of the regular season. Chris Burkhardt here, joined by Brenden Slaughter on the Rip City Drive, and your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Brenden Slaughter on the other side of the glass. Getting you all caught up to the latest happenings around the sports world. And, of course, we'll be getting you ready for Blazers taking on the Spurs tonight. Blazers game day in about a half hour's time. And on that show, we'll have a pair of tickets to go see the Sacramento Kings in game 82 of 82. Final home game of the regular season here at Moda Center. That's coming up and might just be a trivia question to which I might give an answer to later just to see who was listening. It's one of those, if you were paying attention, you would have won. And then when no one gets it, then I'll feel bad. And then we'll try something else. Brenden, speaking of trying something else, the NBA may have a bit of a conundrum. Right? People are tanking. They're tanking like crazy. Everyone needs to get more odds at the first overall pick, and they want to get better lottery chances, all that nonsense. So we've seen egregious tank jobs over the last few seasons. You saw it happen last year. Toronto came to town, and Scotty Barnes is tearing the team up, and then they don't play him at all in the fourth quarter. You've seen it happen with the Utah Jazz this year. Kind of may have seen it happen with the Sacramento Kings just last night against Golden State, up by 1 with 3 minutes left, and they intentionally foul Seth Curry and send him to the line. Like, it's weird little stuff that's going on, and the NBA could be looking to change that. They are meeting today with the Board of Governors, NBA today reporting that the NBA Board of Governors expected to vote and get together on May 28th and look at these anti-tanking rule changes. And apparently, rule number 1 is garnering the most, steam, if you will. And that is the rule that 18 teams, that would be the bottom 10 that missed the playoff, plus the 8 play-in teams, 4 from each conference, would be part of the lottery. The bottom 10 teams each have 8% shot at moving up, with the other 20% being split among the next 8 teams, and all 18 spots draw as part of the lottery. And the thing is, this levels that field a little bit, but this could absolutely impact your Portland Trailblazers. And this is the dumb part about this. If you go in and change this right now, as is, you know what loses the most value? You know what hurts the most? The Portland Trailblazers. Because you know what loses value? Those Milwaukee Bucks picks should Giannis Antetokounmpo get traded. They lose value. Why? Because Milwaukee could be the worst team in the entire NBA, but them and 9 other teams are going to have equal odds at the first overall pick. Not going to be weighed to, you were the worst, so the top 3 teams have the best odds of getting in, or the top 4. No, it's going to level that field with a 20% share split among the other 8 teams. So if you are the Blazers and you're holding on to, right now under the current scheme, 2 of the most valuable picks out there. Again, this is should Giannis get traded, which sounds like that's going to happen as that relationship has soured once again. And you're the Blazers and you're sitting here going, I like this a lot. Should Giannis leave, we get the Bucks picks, the Bucks become worse. We're sitting pretty because we are in a spot to go reap the benefit of that. We don't even have to tank, and we might end up with the first pick because we got that Bucks pick. But under this new scheme, you could go in, and the team that finished 10th would have the exact same odds as the team that finished dead last. And now you take away that leverage. Now, do I think the idea of weighing it across those 10 can make sense? I think there's an argument for it because maybe you're going to see less tanking because you're like, hey, we don't have to be one of the worst 3 teams in the league to stand a chance. We still get into this. But for teams like Portland that have already made massive trades that have future picks attached to it, those future picks will instantly lose the value that they had when that trade happened. That's a pretty rough spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, this obviously is not great. I think first reaction from that, Chris, is okay. Time to put together your A+ best offer for Giannis because obviously those picks might lose value as time goes. I don't love any of these theories because I think it's like a video game. It's like what Sam Presti's enjoyed for the last handful of years. The Blazers and Joe Cronin should not be penalized because they were playing chess when everyone else was playing checkers in this particular instance. Now, let's go back further. I mean, it's like, let me rephrase. Looking at the standings, Chris, Detroit and Cleveland in the East. I can remember when both of those two teams in recent years were tanking to get their picks and get to where they are now, particularly Detroit, who I think last year, the year before, was the worst team in the league, okay? You look on the other side, Oklahoma City, Houston, San Antonio, all built by tanking and the lottery. Though, I mean, there's no, and it's the same reason after Dame. We saw this franchise, this organization, shift their direction because they needed to get talent like Shaden Sharp, talent like Scoot Henderson, talent like Donovan Clingan, so on and so forth. And I think I get where it comes from because nobody likes to see a tanking team. I think it's not fun for the NBA. But, what happened to, Chris, 15, 20 years ago? What if you were just naturally bad? You didn't absolutely try to tanking to the 10th level. And I think, respectfully, Danny Ainge, company, Utah, took it to the next level. I mean, and they got fined for it, obviously. So I think there's, some sour spots with this, Chris. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. No. Even as, I forget if it was Bill Simmons or somebody else is do the wheel method. So, all 30 teams over the next 30 years, what year it's going to be your number one pick. Okay, well, you're going to tell me Wemby and Zachary Reese-Shea are created equal? No way, right? So, it's just, there's not a great way to do this. I think, Chris, Portland won't be alone if they go this way and it's official and final and, having future picks that lose value. The Thunder will be right there, but they already got a championship roster. So I think it's unfortunate. I don't really know, though, what they can do and what the best option is out there that's going to protect the Blazers' picks the best. That would be the one I would root for because I know they're still kind of voting on a couple different options, correct?
Yeah, there's a couple different options. That's just the one that's getting the most steam. And yeah, I don't like it. I think tanking has always been a thing. I think media has blown it up a little bit and made it a bigger thing. And I think, quite honestly, I'm not saying this is the actual answer. This is just my opinion on the thing. I think you might be able to blame Philadelphia for it because they gave tanking a slogan. Trust the process. Trust the process. They told everyone outright, this is going to take time. We're going to, trust the process was a thing. And it netted them Embiid, who's one of the best players in the league when he's healthy. But you got to remember, trust the process also gave them Markelle Fultz and Jahlil Okafor and Nerlens Noel. Not all tanks are created equal. But again, if getting 10 teams in plus 8, so that's 18 teams, have a chance at getting into that lottery, yeah, I feel like that hurts teams like the Blazers who have already made moves to better themselves and have they have picks in their back pocket that should a highly probable move at this point happen, become massively valuable under the current structure. If that structure changes, they lose value overnight. And then the Blazers are punished for making good moves at that time. And I don't like that part of it. I don't know if there's a way to grandfather some of those old picks in.
Yeah, can they be like this? The picks that have been traded are good for, let's see, when's that last swap, Chris? 2030? 4 years. Yeah. It's 4 years.
Yeah, they're never going to do that.
Hey,
it'd be nice, but
can I say, I don't want to say never, Chris, but when in the world of new rules, remember when we didn't think the Blazers would get into the play-in in the COVID bubble, and Dame's like, I just wanted us to give us a chance, and they kind of wrote those rules to give the Blazers a chance to get the 8th seed? Hey, I'm just saying you're 99% right, Chris, but I'm like, you never know.
It's true. It's true. But sometimes, I don't know, the incentive needs to be I think the incentive needs to be to win, and I don't know if you can you put like a floor on this, like if you. I know you couldn't. This is easier said than done, but you look at the teams right now. Teams like Washington, who's been just straight tanking terribly. Um, Brooklyn has 20 wins. Pacers have 18. You look at the Western Conference, it's 21-21 for the Kings and the Jazz. Like, do you put a thing out there like, okay, well, the threshold is 25. If you don't get to 25, you're not eligible for the lottery. Like, unless, there's like if you legit, yeah, we watched the guy break his leg, you lost all your players. None of this fake injury stuff. But again, even that's like, oh, but then what if there's injuries? And that's why I can't get to 25. Like the Pacers to me aren't a tanking team. They just don't have their best player and not a great roster. Like,
I mean, and then it kind of goes the other way too, Chris, where it's like, this is a very, very selective example, but let's just look back. Like the Pacers this year tried to basically do what the Golden State Warriors did. I can't remember if it was the year before their last championship or the year after when Steph Curry got hurt and was out for the year. And they're like, all right, we are going to all stop. And again, they stopped and tanked that year, ended up taking James Wiseman. So that didn't exactly work, right? So, I mean, there's also not a guarantee. And even with Indiana this year and their protections on their pick, like you can tank and then there's still no guarantee you take the guy. It's not, it's not guaranteed.
I think the lottery is a lottery, not just like the draft lottery.
I mean, Wemby was guaranteed.
The draft lottery is a lottery, but the draft itself is a lottery because you're taking a risk. You don't know who's going to hit and who's not. That going into that draft, Wemby was surefire. But then there was debate. Was it Scoot number 2? I was in the camp that I was hoping that Scoot was number 2 because I thought Brandon Miller was the better prospect for what Portland needed at the time. The Thompson brothers, like, there's a lot of talk about them, and people can be mad that they drafted Scoot over them because whatever. But at the time, that was really talked about as a 3-player draft. You just never know. Donovan Clingan taken, he wasn't top 1, 2. Shaden Sharp wasn't top 1, 2, and here they are balling out, playing well for Portland. So you just never know. All right, we're going to take a quick break. One more segment of the Rip City Drive. And then we have Blazers game day for you, where we'll be giving away a pair of tickets to see the tanking Sacramento Kings. Maybe they'll give it your all. Remember a few years ago, it was supposed to be like the tanking Kings or the bad Kings and the makeshift Blazers. And then Anthony Simons went off. Blazers won. Got a matchup with OKC. Few games later, the bad shot happened. What a time to be alive. Chris Burkhardt here with you, live from a construction zone. And you're home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Got a few minutes here, and Brenden brought to my attention that Tuesday is the release date here of the Jailblazer doc on Netflix. And yeah, I'm hyped for that. I just hope they tell a good story, Brenden. I hope they tell it for what it is. And realistically, that point in Blazer history gets a little bit of a black eye, and it's still talked about for many reasons. And there was off the court stuff, but even so, like, oh gosh, got caught with a little bit of marijuana, which is pot's legal now. Times have changed
Big time.
But also, I think it was Eric Gunderson tweeted about it when it happened, that he said he hopes that the documentary doesn't just focus on the bad parts of the Blazers and understands there's an entire generation that loved that team.
Oh yeah, myself included. I mean, I was 5 when I guess 2001, so like ish, and that was the team. I remember growing up for, and there's definitely some connection, Chris. So kind of like you, I'm excited.
Yeah, for me, Brenden, that team, even with all the off the field or off the court stuff, yeah, I fell in love with them. That's my true first passion for the Blazers was them. Like, yeah, you had the early 90s teams, but 1992 I was 5 going on 6.
Yeah, I mean,
in 1999 I was 12 going on 13. I was really starting to understand sports.
And somewhere in a box, Chris, I've got like Beanie Babies from the Blazers at the time, Detlef Schrempf, Scottie Pippen. I mean, it's that's the team I grew up on. A lot of familiar face, a lot of the guys I loved to play with in NBA Live 03.
Right.
So yeah, I'm definitely hyped for it, brother.
Well, I told John Sukanik yesterday that I love baseball. It's my favorite sport, and my love of baseball led me to watching more Mariners games, which led me to love Ken Griffey Jr. And then I started to like Manny Ramirez, which is why I like the Red Sox. But my love of baseball led me to those things. My love of the Blazers at that time is what made me love basketball. It wasn't the love of the sport. It was the love of watching it, and the love of that team made me love basketball. So that team holds a high spot in my heart. I can't wait to hear the story. I can't wait to hear from Sheed and Bonzi and Damon. Mighty Mouse, baby. Only got a few days to wait. Thanks for reminding me. I'm getting hyped again.
Keep seeing it. I'm hyped.
I know. Me too. All right. We're out of here. Kind of. Because coming up next, it's Blazers game day. An hour long. Me and Brenden getting you ready for Blazers taking on the Spurs tonight in a very, very important game. We'll talk about it all coming up next on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.